morning, welcome to day 10 of your daily wellness. Today we are doing fire log pose. So a great hip opener, a great one for improving all your sort of mobility through the hips, and it will help you sit in easy pose or cross-legged much easier. So a great one for today. No intensity as such. We don't need equipment, you don't even need a mat. You can just use your carpet or a rug or a blanket, whatever you need to make yourself feel a little bit comfortable. We're going to start in cross-legged position or easy pose, so if you need a block or a book or a blanket or something, you can slip that under your sit bones now. Otherwise, just start to take the flesh away from the sit bones. Maybe take a little wiggle side to side, upper body, legs. The aim here is to try and just loosen up through the hips a bit. So naturally when we come into this position, if we're tight, you'll find everything kind of grips and holds, and then when I say sit up tall, you're really sort of flexing through the lower body. So the aim here is to try and just let the lower body go. And again, we often sort of cross them quite narrow, so allow the legs to come out a little wider. Take a moment to slightly tilt the pelvis out rather than under, and lengthen up. So we're not overly arching the spine, but we're allowing a little bit of a pelvic tilt to help us lift and lengthen. Knees and elbows grow heavy as you feel the grounding, that rooting down through your feet and your sit bones. Eyes can be open or closed, and maybe just take a little wiggle. Just allow this sort of wiggle left to right, and imagine feeling your legs kind of relax a little bit, the hips relax, this stretch reflex to just loosen off a little bit. Good, and then find central point. Feel your belly expand and contract with each breath. From there, staying grounded through both sit bones, we're just going to slide the upper body one way and the other. So imagine that the shoulders are just sliding to that side and then to that side, grounding down through the opposite hips. So just going as far as your body can go before you start to feel yourself lift up. And rather than sort of folding over, we're actually lengthening to the side. So stay lifted through the shoulder. And then from here we're going to draw this first half of a circle coming forwards. Again, we're not coming into full kind of seated cat-cow or anything, we're just kind of drawing this front part of the circle. Feeling that sensation through the hips as we come forwards and round, grounding down through opposite sit bones and kind of through opposite knee and foot. Feel the weight through the opposite side, grounding you down. And then we will go into full circles, forwards and back as you come back. Tilt the tailbone under as you come forwards. Really open the chest now, lean as forwards as you can or feel comfortable. Allow the arch in the spine right down into the lower back as you come to the front. And changing direction. You might find your breath naturally tallies up with it, don't worry if it doesn't. Good, and then find this neutral point. Again, sit up nice and tall. So from here, what I want you to do is cross your legs the other way. So whatever foot was closer to you is now going to go to the outside, and it'll feel a bit weird. Take that little wiggle again, settle into your cross-legged position. Good, so from here we're going to bring the fingertips to the floor just in front of us, chest open. As you exhale, we're going to fold forwards. Keep the chest open, the spine long. Imagine really pushing the tailbone and the sit bones back down into the floor. Almost arching the spine a little bit, just to get that flexion through the lower back, creating a bit of space through the front of the hips. Take the hands a little wider and we're going to take a little sway. Next time you come to your left, take it all the way over, both hands reaching out on the diagonal. Keep grounding down through the opposite hip and surrender over. Head towards the knee. Don't worry if it doesn't get there. Breathe nice and deep. From there, bring it back through center, walk them over to the other side and surrender over. And notice if this side feels different, tighter or a little bit looser. That's normal. Good, and walk the hands back to center. Bring yourself up to seated. Place the feet a bit wider than shoulder distance and just rolling one in and then the other. They don't have to touch the floor. And then we're going to bring them into a box position on one side. So inhale your chest up. As you exhale, we're going to push through, tilt that tailbone under on this top side and allow the body to come over the knee. So we're coming, my left knee is the one in front of my body and I'm coming over the left leg. Allow that surrender down. Each exhale, feel your stretch reflex. Just relax and give you a little bit more space. Good, come up onto the hands. So from here, we're going to keep this front leg where it is. You're just going to send the back leg backwards. Take a moment to take a little stretch, as if you're kind of coming into your pigeon, but we're not going all the way into full-on pigeon. We're just using it here just to open up the front of the hip a little bit. Maybe you take a little sway. Don't worry about getting the leg across, sticking out in the front there. No worries for this part. Good, and then bring it back in and take that box position on the other side. So now my right knee is in front. Tilt, so tuck the tailbone under, particularly through this left side. As you inhale, we lengthen up, around and down. Allow that surrender. Every exhale, feel your body just release a little further. And again, use the hands to support as you come up. And then we're going to slide this other leg just out behind. And again, take a moment, just take a little sway. Good. So from there, take the legs out front, sit up nice and tall in your staff pose. Pick your right leg up and place the knee down. Take a moment to inhale up nice and tall. And then you have options. So you can either place the right leg down with the foot on the inside of the thigh, or if you're already feeling quite loose through the hip, you can bring the foot up onto the top of the hip and open up that way. See how that feels on the knee and hips for you. Flex the feet. Inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, fold over, thinking up and over. So I can't remember what pose we did where we were doing lots of up and over, but thinking pelvic floor up, belly button in and up as we reach towards the shins, the ankle or the foot. Keep both feet flexed. Good, and roll it up. And the same on the other side, take the leg out long. bring it in, find a bit of length, that in and up. You can either turn the knee out and keep the foot flat down on the floor, or you can bring the foot up onto the thigh, flex through both feet, inhale as you reach, thinking in and up, and then over. Now notice this side might feel different. It might, you might have less space, you might need to do a different option, or if you've been training or something, you might find one of your quads is a bit sore. Just breathing into it. And roll it up. Release it off, give the legs a little shake out. Good. From there we're going to just come into hero pose, so this kneeling position. If you need to, you can put a block underneath for something to sit on, or a couple of blocks. And we can either be right up on top of the feet, or if you have the movement through the knees and hips, we can bring the feet to the sides. It's completely up to you. Try and keep the knees relatively close together so they're not spraying right out. So keep them relatively close. Either way, inhale, lift the chest. Hands come down behind you, and if you're on a block, you're probably already lifted and feeling a bit of strain. If you're not on the block, just lift the hips up for a beat, place it back down, and then we fold forwards over the knees. Use the hands to support as you bring yourself up. And then we start to come into our firelock pose. So for this part, we want to take whichever leg, we'll go left leg first. We want to bring the left leg out in front. So it's not like when we're cross-legged and we're in quite close. We're going to take the leg out a little. So the aim is to get the leg parallel. And then we're going to take the other one. And if you don't get there, don't worry. If this is as far as you get, or if you can only sort of do this, that's fine. Otherwise, we're going to try and bring the other foot on top of the knee. Again, you can use a block here to help give you that lift. That should help you get into it a little bit. It will reduce the angle here through the hip. Flex both feet, and the aim is eventually this knee will rest on this foot. That might not necessarily happen. Don't worry about it. Just taking a moment to sit here and breathe. So either resting hands on the knees or on the thighs or in the lap. Lengthen up tall. And imagine with every exhale that we're just releasing some tension. Send your mindfulness to that right hip and just imagine it relaxing off. Telling your body it's okay for your stretch reflex to relax. We're not going to suddenly jerk deeper into the pose and injure the hip joint. Just take some time, slight tilt of the pelvis back, really working into the hips. Breathing in, feel the belly expand, and out, feeling that contraction. Hold it here for about 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, good. And then use your hands to support as you bring that leg out. Give them a little shake, do what you need to do. Now that might be your easier side or it might be your harder side, so it will probably feel different on the other side. Hips are generally quite wonky, they're generally quite different from one side to the other. I mean the whole body is, but particularly hips. So, same on the other side, we're trying to get this parallel line in front of us. Find whatever position works for you. It doesn't matter if you find that you're right up here, it doesn't matter, work where you're at. There's no shame in it, it's your body, it's your practice, it's your journey. We've all got the things that we're better and not so good at. So again, flex the feet. This is obviously my worst side, I feel like I've got loads of space there. So, foot on top of knee, aiming for the knee to relax down to the other foot, hands rest wherever they feel comfortable. You can even just give a little bit of support if you want to give a little bit of support there. Otherwise, relax. So the feet are a little bit flexed, but we're trying to just allow the body to surrender. Allow the stretch reflex, so give your stretch reflex time to let go, to realize that we're not doing anything dangerous here. We're not going to push it much further, we're just going to allow the body to sink into the pose. And just the weight of your leg there hovering will slowly start to bring it down. So staying here, breathing deeply for about 10 more seconds. Three, two, one, and gently use the hands to support if you want to ease off. Now if you want to, you can do the same again, repeating first side, second side, first side, second side, or if you're doing at-home yoga practice, the side that felt tighter, take a little rest, do a little bit of unwinding, and then try it again and do the tighter side more times than you do the other side. So eventually you would work on that side more until they even up, if you want to. Otherwise, for the rest of us, take the feet again wider on the mat, roll one in and just allow that. Bring it in, roll the other one in and just allow the body to go where it wants. Good, take a minute to come down onto your back and hug your knees in. Draw a few circles. One way and then the other. Last little hug in, and then place the feet down on the floor, hands at the sides, palms up. You can stretch the legs out if you like, or just take them a bit wider than shoulder width and allow the knees to roll in. Breathing deeply into your belly. Notice the sensation of your breath. So the rise and fall of your belly. The feel of the fabric of your clothes against your skin as your belly rises and falls. Feel the chest expand and contract. Notice how the air is slightly cooler on the inhale and slightly warmer as you exhale. Breathing in all that cool, refreshing and revitalizing energy. And exhaling all that stagnant heat, all that excess, frustrating energy that we don't need. A few big breaths. Exhaling through the mouth, really letting all that excess heat go. One more breath all together, in through the nose. And let it go. Good, so if you want to, you can stay here in your Shavasana and relax for a few more beats. Or if you're ready to finish your practice, you can slowly make your way up to seated. And watch me choose our yoga pose for tomorrow. Okay, this one. So tomorrow we have balancing straddle. So a good development on from today. So we've got some hip opening tomorrow, also some balancing, which we have been doing a bit of already as well, and great for opening the chest and this alignment through the spine. So tomorrow, balancing straddle. So namaste. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again tomorrow for your next dose of daily wellness.